national identity should not be expelled from the church, but the church and our Christian identity cannot be tools in hands of our national identities, our states, or our nations. To paraphrase Montesquieu, verse to quote him, "If I knew of something that could serve my nation but would ruin another, I would not propose it to my prince, for I'm first a man and only then a Frenchman, because I'm necessarily a man and only accidentally am I French." End of quote. The true Christian or Orthodox identity is primarily the true human identity. If it is not glorified by the holy love for everyone and everything, no particular identity shall inherit the kingdom of God from the Orthodox perspective. Thank you very much. I more or less kept the promise, so it was less than 45 minutes. So if you have any comments, observations, questions, please go ahead.
Thank you, and I very much appreciated the sensitivity that you brought to your paper, particularly your final comment about Orthodox identity being a human identity. I appreciated that very much. When you talked about how ecclesial organization from the get-go was regional rather than ethnic, something that occurred to me is that we know from witnesses such as John Chrysostom that there was division in places like Constantinople on the basis of language. He had Gothic parishes and Syriac parishes as well as Greek-speaking parishes. How might you speak to that a little bit?
Well, it's a problem. I mean, the same problem we would have today if we think, for example, in the United States, if we had one church here, and that would be normal and reasonable Orthodox approach, you would have the same situation. You would have English-speaking people, Greek-speaking, Russian-speaking. It can be solved. The thing, there are many ways to practically solve that question. The principle we have to follow is that we cannot be divided by any outside, reasons, ethnical, language-based, whatever. The point is that we can serve together because, in the Orthodox perspective, serving together liturgy shows our faith. And if we cannot serve the liturgy together, it means we don't share the same faith. So that's a huge problem. There are many practical ways how to solve that problem. You just serve, this Sunday this language, next Sunday another language, or serve at the same time the liturgy in different languages. So it's kind of inventing problems where there is really no need for them. People are very good in making all these splits and sect-like approach, but it's nothing new. So, but the thing is that from the beginning, church functioned, local diocese was a concrete territory, and so it wasn't based on let's say, Greek and national, whatever culture at that time. Of course, being Greek and being Christian was different, and or anything else. It was just followed the administrative structure of the Roman Empire, and they just installed main bishops in major cities, and that was pretty much that. And I think that later development and all this spreading of Christianity led to this problem we have today. But it can be solved, it just takes a lot of time. Thank you.
Just a clarification, I think there was a point where you said that Christianity was like fundamentally pacifist and peace-loving. Was that a quote, or was that
no,
you?
No, that was me.
So, I was just wondering how that, I guess from my religious studies background that I did here, a lot of the readings we did, especially of the Old Testament, were actually quite violent.
Yeah.
With a lot of imperialism. So then why pacifist?
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I mentioned. All those who try to justify some violence from Christian perspective always take arguments from the Old Testament. But it's Old Testament. Christians do not reject Old Testament, but it's not like New Testament is relevant for Christians. And then when you look, I mean, we can go into the very complicated and long history of the relations between the Old Testament and New Testament. But just if you just read the Gospels, you will not find anything resembling Old Testament ideas of the relations between us and them and these kind of things. It's very pessimist. And even Jesus, in many instances, showed that with Samaritans, they were enemies, Jews and Samaritans and so on. And he showed, like on this example, the way we should deal with others. It's love. So that's the criterion for Christians. You cannot just go back to the Old Testament and take Old Testament